yeah, we'll play this weekly, and then we'll probably call it good. I love this game. Like, I am really, really glad that, like, you know, we talked about it, I think, before, where there was all that confusion with, this and Battleborn, and... Man, I am really glad this game turned out as good as it did, because it's this very easy, perfect, like, pick up and play kind of shooter. Like, it's incredibly well developed. Like, I'm like, yeah, like there's definitely a limit to modes and maps, and I think for some people that might be a deal breaker, but yeah, it's still just super fun to play. Oh
yeah,
my God.
I mean, you can say that though, but it's a Blizzard game, and Blizzard, like, they know how to support their stuff.
Mm-hmm. And they did say, like, all of the updates are going to be free. Hello. They said all the updates are going to be free, which is nice. Like, that is a cool way to do it.
Yeah, modes, maps, characters, whatever, it's free.
Ah. That dash messes me up.
I don't know what I'm doing. Oh.
Seems like the recharge on this dash is a little bit faster in this mode.
Yeah, it seems like it. I don't think it's normally 2 seconds. Yeah, the thing that the reason this, like, I don't usually play a lot of this competitive multiplayer, like I was saying, the reason that I ended up wanting to pick this up is because of how, like, quick it's just to kind of get in and do it. Like, it's the load times is, you know, relatively quick to get into a match. The actual match itself takes like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
It is like one of the, and I don't necessarily mean in terms of like your twitch reflexes, but like it is one of the fastest shooters that I've seen in recent. Like, it is easy to learn. Like, you can learn a character like nothing. Like, it is super fast to learn the characters. It's super fast to get into games. Like, everything about this is designed to keep the player playing. Now, you know, I would argue that their loot box stuff is, it's bad. Like, I think it's bad. Like, it at higher levels, it definitely incentivizes you to buy them because it is so difficult a lot of the time to get a loot box. Like, at this point, it's costing me like 19,000 or 19,000 XP. And I'm sure that will increase. I mean, there's no level limit, so you will eventually, in theory, be able to get all of them, but that is kind of disappointing. I wish that wasn't the case. But that's kind of the worst thing I think that I can say about it, you know?
Yeah, supposedly, like, once you get to level 20, I think it is, it levels out and it doesn't increase anymore.
Yeah, because, I mean, I would imagine... No, sorry.
I say, and then when you get to level 100, you can prestige.
Yeah.
And start over again. So, but still, that's getting to level 100 is going to take some time.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who I've seen on here who are like 40, 50 at this point. I mean, but those people, this is their game. This is the thing they're... Oh, bye, guy. That's the thing. This is the game they are playing, and that's about it. I think that's going to be maybe a little bit more of a difficult thing. And I wonder if... Do you know if that, like, resets when you prestige? Like, the amount that you need to get?
Yeah, from what I've been reading, it sounds like it does.
Okay. Oh, God. There are just a ton of Hanzos back here.
Oh, I just killed myself with an arrow. That was embarrassing.
Oh, jeez. Guy, there are people on the point. Is that gonna be it?
Yeah.
Ooh, got him though.
But yeah, but I just appreciate a game that I can just jump into and just play a match or two and just kind of that'll be it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like that.
Yeah, it's
and that's exactly what this game can be.
It's been weird.
There's no leveling or anything like that. It's just like when you talk about like how long it's going to take to unlock stuff and whatnot, and it's like, yeah, that probably is going to suck, but it doesn't really affect anything. It's just, you know, it's cosmetic.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it is disappointing because it does create a bit of a system of the haves and the have-nots with their cosmetics. I wish there was... I really do just wish that they were like, hey, every box you get a certain amount of credits, you know, because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't want to just... Like, I don't really care a lot about sprays. I care about the voice lines. I care about basically everything but the sprays. I actually don't even necessarily mind the, like, player portrait things they have. Oh, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get it. I have no desire to get those sprays, and they are far and away the most prominent part of it. But I mean, it hardly ruins the actual core game. Like, that's, you know, I think that's the worst thing that you can say is that they have those microtransactions.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
you're
that's
just...
also the thing that kind of makes you wonder, like, should this have been just a free-to-play game?
Yeah.
Because of how strong that stuff is.
Yeah. I don't know. I really wonder. No, go ahead.
I think they would have had to rework the entire system to make them to make the microtransactions better if they really wanted to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they would have had to have done in order to get that stuff right. Yeah. It's tough because I understand why they have them in there. You know, in theory, it is, and I don't feel the same way about this as I do with something like the Halo. You know, like with their whole card system and that stuff, which actually has this effect on the game. I don't feel the same about this as I do about that stuff. But I do think, like, it is still a shame that it exists in any form in this game. And I understand, like, that's post-release support. That's, you know, trying to get the free maps and everything. Still not a big fan of it, though. Not a big fan. But other than that, like, this game, it is hitting the same buttons that Rocket League hit with me. Like, it came out at just the perfect time. Like, it came out at this moment when there's not a lot out. There's not gonna be a lot out now, because, I mean, like, No Man's Sky got its delay, and the summer is just kind of here for Overwatch, basically, unless something big gets announced at E3, but, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got Mirror's Edge, which is gonna be out here in a couple of days, but that's very much just a single player. Hey, just do your thing and get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be it. I think that's the video. I think that this was I've wanted to do something with the Overwatch, and I wasn't quite sure of how I was going to do it, but I really like this game. I really, really like this game. Like, it hits that same thing that TF2 did for me years ago. I think I told you, I don't know if it was on the podcast, but I played TF2 when it first came out with the orange box on the PS3, and I played that thing obsessively. And the PS3 was categorically, like, provably the worst version of that game. Like, it was abysmal, and I still played the hell out of it. And this actually has some support behind it, and that's really cool. I really like it. It's so good, but yeah.
Yeah, with TF2, I always felt like it was by the time I started looking into it, like, people knew it, and I feel like I was jumping into an ocean and I had no idea what I was doing. Where this, getting in from the ground up, like, I feel like it's pretty approachable. Because all the characters are pretty straightforward. Like, you can kind of tell what each person is meant to do just by looking at them. Like, I'm looking at Widowmaker on my screen right now. Guess what? She's got a giant sniper rifle over her shoulder. I bet I know what she does.
I mean, it's the whole silhouette thing, right? Of, like, You need to be able to tell what a character does by their silhouette, and like you can look at somebody like Reinhardt or Roadhog or Bast. Like you get this idea right away of, okay, here's how this stuff works. Hey, if you need a little bit of a hint as to what it does, hit triangle when you're selecting them, and you get their descriptions. Hey, you want to play around with them, go into training mode, go into the play against AI sort of deal. Like there are options to learn the stuff. And again, like I said, like there's not a real big like loss if you lose in terms of your XP. So it doesn't, like, you're kind of just playing it for wins and losses, and the fact that you get those bonus stuff, it's cool, it's nice, but you don't necessarily need to win every single match in order to have a good time, so you can really do some experimentation.
Yeah, well, yeah, and every match you play can be significantly different because of the 21 different characters they have. Like, I don't think in the entire time we played here, I don't think I played the same character twice, and there's still like that second, another dozen characters or so that I didn't get to play, or maybe more. Like, you can play for hours and have a different experience every single map if you want to.
Yeah.
Which is impressive. Then unlike something like Battleborn or like the MOBAs and whatnot, you're not just sitting there trying to learn, like, which way do I need to upgrade this person? Like, your person is set. They have their abilities and that's it. Like, you're not having to do deep dives where it takes like an hour or a couple of hours to figure out what is the appropriate skill set for this person or whatever. I think it works really well.
Yeah, I am really surprised. Like, I went into this game like, oh, there's no progression system, or the progression system is just those cosmetic unlocks. Like, that doesn't really sound too great, but it turns out like it is perfect because it doesn't have that stuff. Like, there is a set character. You're all on the equal playing field with each time. Each time you go through it. The one thing I wish is on the console, if they could have just released Overwatch and not necessarily had it been the Origins edition, because the Origins edition
for the extra $20 is just not worth it.
Yeah, like, I mean, you get
not on console.
Yeah, like no, and you could in theory just cycle all of that stuff into the loot boxes. Like, that's the other thing, is like you could cycle all of those different costumes into a loot box, and you still wouldn't lose anything. Like, you wouldn't lose a huge amount. Like, you do get other stuff for playing other Blizzard games. Like, there's some stuff for like StarCraft for not for TF2. There's some stuff for StarCraft. You get the Mercy's Wings for Diablo. You get Heroes of the Storm, like a booster pack for Hearthstone, and a World of Warcraft pet. But that's all stuff that I could live without. Like, if you just had a $40 package, I think that $40 package actually is way more. It's more justified if you're just that's how you could, in theory, you could just buy the equivalent of $20 worth of booster packs. Or not booster packs, but of loot crates.
So does that stuff unlock when you buy it on console? Just the PC version, though. That's my question. Like, I just assumed that getting it on PS4, like, you get the couple skins that you get, which are not exclusive at all, because anyone we're playing with has those skins.
No, but you get all of that stuff. Like, you get all of that stuff. Like, it links to your Battle.net account. So all of that stuff, like, you get like a little code thing, and I think, like, with your case, because I think you bought it digital, I think if you go over into your options and to the link account up at the top there, you can actually link in your your Battle.net account. Because that stuff is on there. For me, it was a code included in the game, but for you, I would imagine it would all be. You would all just link it.
I just claimed my digital goodies. So, yeah, I mean, the only other of those games that I play is Diablo, and that is a very minor cosmetic thing. I already have like giant angel wings for getting whatever the DLC for that game is called. I forget. Reaper
of Souls. Just finished that, actually. I just finished that like a couple weeks ago now. That's pretty good. That expansion's pretty good.
Yeah. And so that's really what sold me on Overwatch, though, is it's Blizzard, and Blizzard has done a fantastic job of supporting all of their stuff. And this is their big thing. It is catching on. It is popular. like I'm really curious to see what this game is going to look like in, you know, a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. Like if it's going to look anything like it looks like right now. If you go back to Diablo 3.